think first recognizing their presence is important. Um,
Mhm.
that sometimes takes time to recognize your own triggers and the presence of those feelings and experiences.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's about seeking more professional help with those things just to unpack them and find maybe the root cause of them. In addition to maybe developing a toolbox to help you deal with those feelings
Mhm.
or emotions, and then maybe even creating a path of healing together. So,
Mhm.
I say to everybody, seek the professional advice. That's what they do, and they're there for.
Mhm.
And then sometimes we're on our way in dealing with those things that we don't see, and we're not even aware of it
Mhm.
until we're in it or maybe even afterward.
Mhm.
So there are things that we do, and then all of a sudden we go, I feel so much better after I do that. Okay. So for some people and for me, it was getting on the yoga mat. It was martial arts. It made me feel good
Mhm.
afterward. So I didn't realize that I was using those modalities to be
Mhm.
working through maybe emotional distress or emotions in general or past experiences or
Mhm.
whatever that is. If it makes you feel good after you do it,
Mhm.
uh, and like maybe doing yoga or singing or
Mhm.
art or doing puzzles or whatever that is, sometimes it's helping you work through those things that you might not even be aware of, and you might not even realize you're working through those things until later, and you become aware and you have that
Mhm.
awareness and you work with somebody to unpack those things.
So it sounds like we want to become we want to become aware of we want to become aware of what's invisible, but let me see if this makes it. So we want to become aware of what's visible, but first we have to make it visible, and we have to make it known, right? Is that what you're kind of saying
You
that?
have to understand its presence, and how
Okay.
how to do that is by listening.
Mhm.
And that's one way of doing it. We don't take the time to really listen to our bodies. We push
Mhm.
through everything. So for example, we push through the pain, we push through the exhaustion, we push through the stress, we push
Mhm.
through all these things to get whatever it is we need to get done
Mhm.
accomplished, and we're not listening. And when we take the time, whether it's through meditation or through whatever practice it is, sometimes for people it's listening to music, and then all of a sudden something resonates with them and they have an emotional response. And being able to listen to that, recognize that, unpack that with a
Mhm.
professional, find out what that root is, and then develop a toolbox for
Mhm.
maybe those triggers, and then a path of healing, of whatever that's going to work for each person might be different. But,
Mhm.
you know, we don't always see those things inside of us. A lot of them are on a very deep, childhood, unconscious level. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that they don't exist or that they're not there. It's just that sometimes we're not aware of them.
Mhm.
A lot of times, like other things in our world at the same time.
Okay. So things like, because we're talking about sound and stuff. I want to touch a little bit about music, because of course everyone at some point in their lives have listened to music, uh, uh, different genres of music. I know with me growing up and in my environment with my grandmom, it was a lot of music, um, from the 50s and the 60s. She listened to a lot of the Temptations, the Marvin Gaye, the Drifters, the Oreos and stuff like that. And they sung a lot, and most of their songs were a lot about the the were a lot about love and relationships, and I can't live without you. And then I would go into another world, where I went to middle school and high school, and the popular thing was hip hop and
Mhm.
rap music and pop music. And one thing I noticed, especially with different genres of music, some genres are more aggressive than others. That's not to say that that's not a good or that's not a bad thing. It's just something that you feel within the music. So with that being said, do you think that because music is associated with sound and frequencies, do you think that people may have some type of emotional trauma or mental health? Is emotional trauma and mental health, could that be linked to the type of music that you listen to growing up, since it is sound and frequency stuff?
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm not sure if I'm gonna answer this question in
Okay.
correctly. I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
peel back your question a little bit, and I'm not sure if I'm the qualified one to answer this question.
Okay.
I mean, I think that everyone when everyone is
Mm-hmm.
attached to music in their own way, everyone relates to music in their
Mm-hmm.
own way. And sometimes you're going through a breakup and you listen to music and it
Mm-hmm.
helps you heal. Sometimes you listen to songs and you get triggered by them because you can't find the own words in your soul, but they're speaking those words.
Mm-hmm.
Some people work through their trauma through music.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way for them to cleanse and clear and heal their soul. Healing
Mm-hmm.
singing bowls is a way for frequency to get to people and resonate with them. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that answers your question. Is trauma related to the type of music that people listen to,
Mm-hmm.
or emotional? I
No.
mean, I would say
Mm-hmm.
if I'm in a happy mood, I might want to listen to uplifting music, and if I'm in a sad mood, maybe I have a different mix that
Mm-hmm.
one would play. But but then I would listen to music to kind of uplift me because I am sad and I need to be uplifted. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's an individual question
Okay.
on that. And I've been, I've had the blessing of being exposed to all different types of genres and music
Mm-hmm.
throughout my life, and so I think that plays an influential role in people's taste or connection to music, as well as it's their culture, it's connected to family, it's connected to friends and being a teenager, it's connected to being in college. And so I have these phases of music, and each one is connected to a particular moment or spot in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And those do trigger, when I listen to that music, it does trigger the emotions of the time. Um, so hopefully that answers a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
that question in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, no. I was just interested in knowing and understanding your take on that, because everybody listens to music, and we mentioned and we talked about sound and frequencies and stuff like that, and that's really what music is. So like how you were saying that when people are sad, or when people want to be uplifted, they would go to music to uplift themselves, and because people can relate to a particular artist, um, and can and it's almost like they have somewhere to escape, and they have somewhere to go to really fix what it is that may be going on with them, or not. So I was just
Well,
interested in
yeah,
hearing
I think a lot of
yeah.
people do work through
Yes.
things through music. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's just simply put, people work through things through music. I'm sure your listeners have heard a song that have given them chills or that make them sing in their car really, really loud. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is, it's resonating with them. Um, so that's a great thing.
Mm-hmm. So yes, I wanna get in. I want to talk a little bit about thought, um, about thought and our mental health. Uh, so I want to get into the differences between between a thought and and our emotions. Somebody can so let's just say um, something happened to me in high school, and I think and I feel comfortable sharing it. Uh, so so at, at this time, I had a I had a crush on this girl that I really really liked, and I went out of my way and I made a I believe it was a pound cake or something like that. I made a cake, and and I made the cake. Um, I bought it. I bought the cake. I bought the cake to her. She took it the first time. Um, and it was good. She said, "No, yeah, thank you." So I really felt good about myself. And then the second time, I did it again, and then she didn't take the cake, and I was very disappointed. Well, I wouldn't say disappointed. I was upset. Um, I don't want to say angry, just more of upset, and I was feeling this sort of resentment, kind of popped up because she didn't take the cake. So what happened was I was I was so you know how so I was upset and angry at her, and I was just sad, and all of a sudden I started thinking of scenarios and of how it should have played out, and how it would have played out, and I got to a situation now looking back at it now, like my I was feeling sad, I was feeling distraught, and I was feeling down, and I was feeling low, but I wasn't taking into consideration of asking, maybe her, what was her side of the story, or anything like that, because I never asked her why, and I share that story because sometimes a person can go through emotions, and then at the same time think think about that situation, and then it gets to the point where we don't know what is our how we truly feel about something versus how we think about something. Do you think that when we go on a journey on healing our emotional and our mental state, but especially when we're going through something emotional, do you think that thought can distort those emotions and put you in a state that's even unhealthier to where you were before? You understand the question?
I'm gonna
Okay.
reiterate the question to make sure I'm clear on it.
Yes.
And thank you for sharing your story.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're talking about thoughts here and
Yes.
how thoughts affect how we react to our emotional state.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, thoughts are really powerful. Our beliefs are really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Everything starts with a thought or a belief, right? I believe they're just as powerful as the words we speak because everything is energy, everything has a frequency. And I love the quote by Roosevelt where he said, "If you believe you can, then you're halfway there." So the power of thought is profound, um, and it's profound in the way that it can truly shift the way that we feel when we change our thoughts. We can shift the way that we feel. When we shift those emotions and we shift those thoughts, it
Mm-hmm.
can then shift the actions that we take.
Mm-hmm.
And with that comes profound shifts in our lives and the lives of those around us. So uh, it all comes down to those thoughts and how we change those thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and there's the discipline, and there's where the practice comes in, and there's where um, we can begin is by just simply changing the way we think about
Mm-hmm.
a situation or ourselves
Mm-hmm.
or whatever that is. Starting there with that shift can truly begin uh, a big change in all
Mm-hmm.
aspects, including the emotional part of it as well,
Okay. Good. 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 Yeah. And um, I
and the
was.
way that we affect other people. By the way, so um, we can dive into that if you wish, the way that we can affect other people through
Yes.
that as well.
Yes. I actually had a question about that. Can we affect people's health through how we communicate with them? Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's think about
Mm-hmm.
this as, and I'm sure, asking your audience to think about this too. I mean, communication happens in so many ways, right? Let's think about just some basic ways that people communicate through their
Mm-hmm.
words, through their thoughts, through their actions, through their body language, through their habits. All these are different ways that we communicate. One of the interesting things that I like to talk about in class, in one of the classes that I teach, is that all around us, there are oodles and oodles of radio waves that are in the air, that are all around us. Now, we're not tuned into them all, but they still exist around us. They're very measurable. And on these waves is communication. It's happening all around us all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a matter of what we're tuned into at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe in the power of words, and I believe in. I think they have profound impact. Dr. Emoto and the Power of Words with Water was a brilliant author and scientist in this realm, with the power of words. And
Mm-hmm.
organizations, just to put this out there, and how we can impact others. I mean, HeartMath, that
Mm-hmm.
organization, the HeartMath Institute, for over 25 years has been studying the heart brain connection,
Mm-hmm.
learning how that connection can have influence on
Mm-hmm.
our perceptions, our emotions, our health, our intuition.
Mm-hmm.
They help you tap into the power of your heart intelligence, right? And they do this in a lot of different ways. One is breath work. Um, Amongst other things that they do, one of the big things that they do is they have meditations, these heart centered connection meditations, and they
Mhm.
gather people from around the world in these meditations that teach us how to be heart connected. And as this happens as a group,
Mhm.
getting coherent and aligned with breath and heart, they have created, and it has created, measurable and profound shifts, including healing and global coherence and these different things. They're a wonderful institute and organization. They're bringing the science to life in it. And I think that they are showing
Mhm.
that. Uh, we can have profound effect on others in the way that we communicate to each others. I mean, nervous systems connect with other nervous systems. Um, this happens with people and in groups. So I absolutely think yes, we can have an effect through our words, our thoughts, our actions, and evil, even as groups, we can have effect on people's health in different ways.
Hmm. That's interesting. When we say when nervous systems connect with nervous systems, so what I'm getting that is so what you're saying is that if we are able, so let's just say if we are able to get in sync and we are able to get in sync with each other through breath. um so do we connect so do we connect like that, or or is it an individual thing? So I'm just trying to uh, be clear for people that may not
So,
understand.
breath work, when we're in breath work
Yeah.
together, whether it's through prayer, whether it's through meditation,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's through a group sitting together and inhaling and exhaling, maybe it's a yoga practice, a Tai Chi practice. What we're doing is not only connecting with our own bodies, but where bodies are physically, in a way, connecting with each other. So just a small example of this, and a lot of people who have pets for pet therapy or maybe just have pets at home,
Mm-hmm.
um, this works with your pets. If you have even a pet, a little, say, a cat or a puppy, and you put them on your body, and you feel the purr, the breathing of the cat or the puppy or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
that's on you. You actually start aligning your breath. The heart actually starts connecting, and the blood pressure lowers and the heartbeat
Mm-hmm.
starts to sink, and you start sinking. The nervous system calms, the parasympathetic nervous system starts coming into play, the rest and digest. And
Mm-hmm.
this happens in groups. It happens as an individual, maybe with other individuals. We're
Mm-hmm.
all connected, Noah. So it's just a matter of getting in an alignment with each other. And that's incredibly possible. And it is
Mm-hmm.
possible. It is happening and it's measurable.
Mm-hmm.
So go to the Heart Math Institute, check out the science, check out the work that they're doing, look at what they're doing with global coherence, teaching people to connect with their heart intelligence. Um, and with their physical, mental, and emotional systems,
Mm-hmm.
creating an alignment and the shifts that are happening, not only as them as individuals or yourself
Mm-hmm.
or your listeners, but what you can do as a group of people as well.
So wouldn't that be sent because we live in an age of social media and stuff like that? So wouldn't that be similar to say uh, I want to find people with similar interests and that align with my that align with my interests. So when because you mentioned about the cat and the purring and you actually start aligning with with the purring. It's got with the breath. What?
Heartbeat,
Yes.
breath, nervous system. Yeah, those things can
Yeah.
physically happen with
Mm-hmm.
another person or a group of people. You know,
Uh huh.
we do this in meditation, we do this with
Mm-hmm.
Tai Chi. We start inhaling together, we
Okay.
start exhaling together, we start becoming aligned in the movement
Mm-hmm.
of what we're practicing. And that enables us to connect with our inner selves, but it also helps
Mm-hmm.
us connect to each other as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I think finding a group on social media that you align with is aligning your interest. It's aligning the way that you think. It's maybe aligning what you hope to find, or maybe the journey that you're on.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, that's a place to start.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't have the effects of actually being in the group. It's more effective when you're actually with the actual human or the actual pet. That's where
The the global coherence meditations happen with
mhm.
people online. So everyone gathers online, someone guides the
Oh,
meditation, and everyone breathes together. Whether you're in
okay.
Africa, Asia, America, Canada, it doesn't matter. You all start practicing
Hmm.
through the guide this breathing kind of technique together.
Hmm.
Um, some people in some cultures also use the power of prayer. You know, when somebody's sick in the family,
Hmm.
everyone might text each other. You see it on social media, prayers and wishes, needed for
Mm.
so and so, and everyone starts thinking of that person, right? So it
Hmm.
starts with that thought. Everyone starts in their own way, maybe a prayer, whether that's a breathing technique, whatever that is for that person. It's different for
Hmm.
everybody, and all of a sudden, it kind of hones in on that. And we've seen profound things happen.
Hmm.
So that's the coherence that I'm talking about. Everything is connected,
Yeah. So it's almost like because
laser focusing it.
yes, it's almost like a consciousness. So
That's
whatever
right. Kind of
whatever.
awakening that consciousness, or bringing into light that
Yeah.
consciousness of thought.
Yes. So it's like let's say for because I'm harping on social media because everyone's on it, and it's like, so if you say something or you do something or you put a message out there, you're kind of you're kind of putting it in the in in the consciousness, because the internet itself is almost like it's all social media. I meant, well, it's almost like a consciousness. It's almost like a consciousness itself, because if you do a post, that's how things go viral. You
Hmm.
post something, and then it echoes, and then people get on the page. So that's kind of like what you're saying with the breathing thing, and the actual connection. So it's
Yeah,
almost like a
in a way. I mean, social media is a little bit, everything.
hmm.
Everybody maybe watches the same video or something and
Yes.
starts commenting on it, but it all starts with sort of that
Hmm.
thought. I mean, that's where it really began. If you're putting a thought into your brain,
Hmm.
you're already bringing consciousness to it. You're already putting that wave of frequency out there.
Hmm.
Your words, the same thing, right? Your belief system, the same
Hmm.
thing. It's all frequency.
Hmm.
It's all interconnected. If I say something to myself, or if somebody says something to me enough times, maybe I'll believe it, right?
Hmm.
And then maybe I'll manifest those things to come to reality, right? Maybe I'm
Hmm.
bringing those things to myself, or a way, or maybe I'm putting it out there and attracting those things. That's another
Hmm.
podcast, but coming back to health and
Yes.
wellness and mindset,
Mhm.
It's just another tool in your toolbox that you can use.
Mhm.
The power of breath, the power of thought, the power of belief. Um, it's just bringing it back to that
Mhm.
multi modal technique
Mhm.
of health and well being. These things already exist, they're out there, they're within yourself, they
Mhm.
cost nothing, and we need them today.
Mhm.
We need them for our health and
Mhm.
well-being to um,
Mhm.
and our emotional, mental, and physical systems that we have within us. You know,
Mhm.
nutrition is the other part that I would add
Mhm.
to this piece. You know, it's a big deal, and I believe that what we eat and put in our body can make a big difference in a lot of ways. It's something that I've
Mhm.
learned. It's something that I'm still learning.
Mhm.
You know, we live in a very fast-paced world at the moment. It's very processed. It's can be very toxic in a
Mhm.
lot of ways. We don't have time always to make great choices. Um, to read labels, to
Mhm.
cook from scratch, you know, as we used to, and maybe back in the day. So,
Mhm.
uh, but I think if we make that conscious decision,
Mhm.
and going back to social media, there are a lot of groups out there of like-minded people who want to do the same thing, who
Mhm.
feel the same way. So get on board with them to feel motivated and connect and
Mhm.
resonate with your tribe, if you will, or whatever
Mhm.
path that you're on. But, you know, I believe it's about making one good choice and then the next good choice and then the next good choice, taking it step by step
Mhm.
and creating the environment that you want, right? It's
Mhm.
about creating that. And you can do that through
Mhm.
connecting with people that are like-minded on social media, finding those organizations, um, and really give yourself permission though to enjoy, to live, to indulge, and to uh, take your time and experiment with different modalities or these multimodalities,
Mhm.
to see what works for you because everyone's unique in their own way. So it's not just about one thing, but it's about uh, multi things, and find out what resonates with your frequency.
Mhm. I have a question because of when because I say because I say resonate what resonates with you all the time, and then someone would go look at you and go like what does that mean? So Heather, like what do you what do you mean when you say what resonates with you? What do you mean by that?
When I say when something resonates with you, it's your personal truth and you know it. You know it jives with
Mhm.
you. It's who you are. It's what you believe. It's what gives you goosebumps when you hear that magical note in a song that you're listening to, and all of a sudden you get goosebumps because you're resonating with it,
Mhm.
right? Your hair goes up on your arms, and you get the chills, and you go, "Oh, I could
Mhm.
totally feel that," right? That's where I'm at right now. That's what something's resonating with you. You're kind of in
Mhm.
that flow, and it's speaking to you, and you
Mhm.
know that it's who you are. It's what you're about.
Mhm.
It's where you're going.
How would how would someone know? Because you know it's easy to say, well, you know, resonate do things that resonate with you. How would somebody know really truly know for sure if how would someone get to that point of finding out what really resonates with them, because sometimes someone may grow up with in a situation where they were told that the world is one particular way, and then they have to they have to stick to that, like you were saying how it's not just about one thing. How would someone free themselves from that to truly really feel and connect with what resonates to who they are and not what others say that they should be or they should become?
Well, I think isn't that what life is about? Aren't each of us on a personal journey to
Mm-hmm.
find out that truth? I mean, that's what
Mm-hmm.
I would how I would answer that. I mean, sure, when we grow up, we accumulate values and standards and thoughts and ideas from our environment, right? Of where we grew up and how we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And as we flee from the nest and venture into our own people,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the journey begins of learning and understanding those things, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely all about, learning and accumulating.
I
Um,
mean, listening and
yes.
listening, and those things change, Noel. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not into the same things I was as a teenager.
Mm-mm.
My view on health and self care have
Mm-hmm.
completely shifted from one end of the pole to the other end of the
Mm-hmm.
pole. What I'm into and what resonates with me now
Mm-hmm.
was not what resonated with me many, 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 many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all on that personal journey, and those things will shift as we grow, as we experience, as we, maybe we seek a higher vibration,
Mm-hmm.
if we will, and I think that journey starts by going within
Mm-hmm.
and listening.
So it's sort of so it's sort of like a death of the and I don't mean death by like, oh, is this the Armageddon? No, I'm talking about like how you said, like, you weren't the same person as you were as a teenager. So that person you were as a teenager, you that died, but out of that and through your
I
experiences and accumulate, no,
I would say transmuted. I mean,
transmute,
energy doesn't just die and disappear.
yeah,
It transmutes into another form of energy, right?
mm-hmm,
So everything is energy and it's infinite.
yes,
So I would say that there are elements and pieces of
mm-hmm,
everyone, their spirit, that have always been there and always will be.
mm-hmm,
There are pieces of your identity and who you are
mm-hmm,
and who you will be that have been there from the very beginning.
mm-hmm,
And maybe your parents tell you stories of when you were an infant and how you were, and those ways are still there, right?
mm-hmm,
But as we grow and experience and
mm-hmm,
as we hone in on the things that that we want to become or that are important to us or the
yes,
person that we want to be, we transmute some of those things and we discover things about ourselves and we shift in the way that we think or
mm-hmm,
what's important and but our
mm-hmm,
essence is still there. The essence of that light, is still there. It's just a matter of discovering those things. Some things are just embers
mm-hmm,
inside of us, and until we find, seek, unpack and breathe life into
mm-hmm.
them, they don't take a flame.
So when you say transmute, like a transformation,
It changes,
it changes.
it
Yeah,
doesn't die.
yeah,
It shifts, it changes.
yeah. No, I wasn't talking about
Yeah.
die as like a that part of like that. Like, I wasn't talking about
I
like that part of
gotcha.
you is
I
dead.
gotcha.
But what
But
I was
words
talking,
are important, like we're talking
yeah,
about here. So,
yeah,
I gotcha what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I just use,
uh-huh,
I like to think of it
mm-hmm,
as, you know, Noel, you're still Noel, but you're shifting and changing and
yes,
discovering and finding out those deeper parts of you and those,
yes,
and those places that we neglect and those things that we bury.
yes,
And, all those pieces are a big part. Just coming back to what you said about
mm-hmm,
earlier in the show about affecting health and mind and connectedness. And in order
Yeah.
for us to be on that journey, right, we have to be prepared
Mm-hmm.
to go inside of ourselves. To have that inner journey is so important, to get connected to our mind, our body, our heart, our soul are integrated, and all those aspects of those things, um, including the places that we neglect and the things that we bury. It's in this space that we have self discovery, that we have growth, that we have healing, that we find love for ourselves, that we
Mm-hmm.
forgive ourselves. And I think we're all on that journey. At least I hope that we all are or will be on that journey.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly am myself. I can tell that you are, Noel, and it's exciting. And when you find other people that are kind of on that same wavelength, that you're jiving with, that you're resonating with, that are sort of doing those things, there's a coherence that happens. And I think people are awakening, to
Mm-hmm.
those things. Um, they want to discover those things,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe we all will be better listeners because of it, for our inner selves, and therefore being able to radiate those things to all those around us as well. So
Absolutely. And one last thing before we wrap it up, uh, I wanted you mentioned it. You mentioned of love. So what is love, and what is love to you, and how does one truly know when they have found love, or they resonate with love?
well, Noel, that is a very big question for the top of the hour. I think that's a whole nother podcast. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe love is infinite in every direction,
Mm-hmm.
and if I can shelf that there, maybe that would be another podcast. um,
Mm-hmm.
but I think all of love starts within uh, each one of us, and
Mm-hmm.
finding that love for ourselves so that we can better radiate love to everything and everyone around us. So, um, with that,
I love it.
that's where I'll put that one right now.
I love it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Heather Anderson, if you guys want to check out um, Heather Anderson's organization, you can go reach out to them through the World Genesis Foundation. Uh, Heather, do you have some sort of website of yours that you maybe want to share with the audience, so that way they can find you if they want to talk to you personally, or if they resonate with you?
Yeah, World Genesis, most definitely. I mean, that is uh, my passion and my breath work at the moment. Everything there, and everything that we're doing and creating opportunity for youth around the world so that they can feel inspired to go on their own journeys of healing and self discovery and reaching their highest potential. So that is what we're all about there. And my website, myhealthinmotion.com, is where you can learn more about yoga, breath work, Tai Chi, and everything that's connected to you connecting with you. So we like to make it all about you, and doesn't everyone like that, right? So, yep, see us there, learn more about what we're doing, get involved, volunteer, put yourself out there, and let's help each other rise in our global missions and our personal journeys. That is my wish to all of you that are listening. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast today. I'm going to wish you a great afternoon. And till next time.
all right, you guys. You heard it from Heather Anderson. Then again, you can go to their Instagram, World Genesis Foundation. You guys should go on ahead and check them out. I will make sure to put that information in the description below, but it is also on the wonderful screen with the wonderful graphics. So you guys can just copy it from there. And we will see you guys tomorrow at Friday, 7 p.m. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right.